And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Let's Play Star Trek Online. And we are back on the Federation side with Ensign Ricky. And as you can see, I have appropriately dressed him for the occasion. I don't think I've ever quite used the cliche red uniform on Ensign Ricky, but I think it's about time that we do. It's appropriate and pretty cool for in-game anyway. We'll continue with that theme. So we are at in-game on Ensign Ricky. What does that mean? Well, it means that all the storyline missions are done. As you've seen, we have played through every single storyline mission from the Klingon War to the Undine Advance all the way to the end. And in fact, in the last couple of videos, I even replayed a couple of missions during the event to get the special items. So now we have all the special items that you can get in the featured episode series, such as the Ophidian Cane, the Breen officer, the Riemann Bridge officer, and our there's something else I'm forgetting. Oh, the Shard of Possibilities, of course. So I have all the special rewards, and so now that we've done that, what is left to do at in-game? Well, this video is to introduce you to the reputation system. So before Season 7 of Star Trek Online, this reputation system did not exist, and the best you could do at in-game was the DOF system, which is pretty cool and still very useful today. Of course, you can see that we have a long way to go on the DOF system for Ensign Ricky, so we could spend forever, as they call it, doffing and ranking up. In fact, we're only at Diplomatic rank 2. We need to get to Diplomatic rank 4 to be a full ambassador. So that is something, of course, that we can continue to do at in-game. That keeps us busy, right? Well, there is now something brand new you can do at in-game to also keep you busy, and it's called the reputation system. The goal and idea of the reputation system is simply to allow you to keep leveling something up on your character so that you feel like you're doing something to your character. Because remember, we are now Vice Admiral 50, so there is no more leveling up in the number system. We're at 50 as far as you can go. But Cryptic wanted to invent a way for you to continue to skill something up on your character, and in doing that gain new powers and open up new stores to buy new gear that you can only get through this reputation system. And that's the whole idea. The reputation system is there to keep you busy at in-game. It only unlocks at level 50, so that you can keep leveling something up on your character and feel like you're doing something. And that's basically it. How do you access it? Hit U, just like you usually would on getting your character interface like this, and now you'll have a button called Reputation. Click that, and now the reputation at level 50 is open to us. Now, under the reputation system, we have two different types of reputation systems. We have New Romulus and Task Force Omega. New Romulus says, assist the colonization and restoration projects of Titan and his people on New Romulus. Earn Romulan Marks by participating in missions and events that take place on and near their home planet. Okay, and Task Force Omega says, a cross-faction strike team dedicated to combating the ongoing threat of Borg invasions. Earn Omega Marks by participating in special task forces, group-centric PvEQ events, the Defera invasion, and other Borg-related mission and events. So their idea here is that we have two different things we can do or level up in. Each one provides unique powers. Each one provides unique stores to buy unique gear specific to each one. The idea is, in the future, they can continue to add more reputation things. For example, we have two right here. Well, they could simply add one for the Dominion, or add one for Cardassia, or add one for Borg. Well, they've already got Borg. That's Task Force Omega. So they could add one for the Undine if they wanted. They could add one. Basically, insert name of race that's important, and they could add one for that. So they could, you know, one day in the future, maybe years from now, we'll see several listed on here. where we have unique things to do, and that is basically what keeps us busy at in-game. Now how this works is you have to earn specific marks for each one, which is basically a new currency, and those marks are in turn used to start projects. But not just marks, you have to also have other consumables that you have to buy if you don't have them to run the projects. The projects run, and each one takes 20 hours, and you can only run 2 projects at a time. As they are finished, you turn them in, and they give you a certain amount of reputation points. And the reputation points is what skills you up in the different tiers. You start out with 0 reputation and at tier 0 on both of them. As you finish projects, your reputation increases. And it says here that reputation tier 1 unlocks at 5,000 reputation. So it takes 5,000 reputation before tier 1 unlocks. And then we go to tier 2. It takes 15,000 reputation. Tier 3 takes 32,500. Tier 4 is 60,000, and tier 5 is 100,000. So as you do the projects, you turn them in, they add to your reputation, and slowly but surely you start leveling up in these different tiers. Now, in order to unlock each tier, you also have to do a special upgrade mission or project, which takes 15 minutes. Then, at each tier, you also have stores that you can unlock. However, they're optional. You have to run projects in order to unlock the stores, and that costs a lot of marks and a lot of consumables. And you do that, and you can unlock stores at each tier and get something unique that you did not have access to before. A lot of people, however, skip the stores at the lower tiers because there's nothing really useful at tier 1 or tier 2 in the stores. It's not until you hit tier 3, 4, and 5 that you have really useful things in the stores. However, there is something that I find useful at the lower end, and that is under Task Force Omega. You want the Mako or Omega, or Honor Guard if you're KDF, ground set on your character. Even though it's only Mark 10, at least it's better than even the Jem'Hadar set for doing STFs on the ground if you do a lot of that. Of course, it's only Mark 10, so at a higher store, see, it's only 10 at level 2 as well, at tier 3, and then it goes up to Mark 11. So let's go through each of these so you can see what's available. I'll make this window bigger. So the at New Romulus at tier 1, once you get to tier 1, you have the tier 1 passive ability, and this is on every tier. See these buttons right here? These are actually buttons that light up as you complete each tier. You are able to select a specific power that you want, and they have 2 options for each tier, but you can only select 1 option. Be careful selecting it because it is permanent once you do select it. So the Romulan Tier 1, you have lethality or enhanced personal shield. Lethality increases your critical chance by 3% in ground combat, and personal shields increases your personal shields by 30, enhancing your shield health in ground combat. So you can choose which one you want. And these are passive powers, which mean they automatically activate, or they're automatically enabled from selecting it. Now on all my characters, I went with the increased critical hit chance on ground, so that way I'll do better critical hit. And so that is the Romulan unique power under tier 1. And under tier 1, if you unlock the stores, of course these are optional, these also cost projects. The store unlocks are very rare purple plasma pistol, very rare purple Romulan plasma rifle, and a purple Romulan plasma assault weapon, and they're all Mark 11. So very useful, even for the so basically for the Romulan Tier 1, that's useful because that's a Mark 11, very rare Romulan weapon. So that is a useful store unlock if you wanted to unlock something on the Romulan side at Tier 1. You can also get Scorpion Fighters, blue Scorpion Fighters, and consumables. Now at Tier 2, you get to select Precision or Enhanced Shield. Now this is for your ship. Basically Tier 1 is ground, and then Tier 2 is the same stuff but on your ship. You have critical hit chance by 3% in space, or Enhanced Shield Health by 30 on your ship. I again went with the critical hit chance in space, so that on ground and space I'm doing a better chance of critical hit. Of course, if you want better shields, then choose the other option. Now at Tier 2, you get Mark 11 Romulan Plasma Beam Weapon, Plasma Light Cannon, and Romulan Plasma Heavy Cannon. And you also get new equipment projects if you decide to do these. You can get a Universal Console 0-point energy conduit or a consumable. I have not got this yet, but I am at Tier 2 on some of my characters, but I have not purchased this yet, so I cannot show you what the stats are on this or what it even does, but it sounds pretty cool. I'll have to look at it because I do not remember it exactly. I'm sure people will fill in for me in the comments because I forget exactly what that console does. But somebody out there knows. Somebody out there is using it right now. So, but that is a unique item that you can get through this reputation system. When we hit Tier 3, we can get Mark 12 Romulan weapons. So the best you can get at Tier 3. Plasma pistol, rifle, or assault weapons, Mark 12. And we get very rare purple Scorpion Fighters as well. And this is where we start to get the Romulan Ship Set. They have a shield, a deflector dish, and an engine for a full-on Romulan space set. And it's Mark 11 at Tier 3. As we go up in tier, we can get a Mark 12 version, but at Tier 3, it's Mark 11. So it's not the best you can get, but it starts you off if you want a good Romulan build. That's good to go. And of course we get our Tier 3 passives. We can do Reactive Shielding, which means you have a 50% chance to gain an instant heal to your shields when you're critically hit in ground combat. Or Disabling Strikes. You have a 20% chance to knock back your target when you critically hit them in ground combat. So both of these related to ground combat. You can select whichever one you want. So that's pretty cool. When we hit Tier 4, we could do Emergency Secondary Shielding. You have a 20% chance to gain an instant heal to your shields when you are critically hit in space. Or Sensor Targeting Assault. You have a 20% chance to placate your target, preventing them from targeting you for 2 seconds when you critically hit them in space combat. So these both are related to space. You can pick one of those. Again, awesome abilities, all of these right here. Awesome abilities. Now at Tier 4, we get the Mark 12 Romulan Plasma Beam, Romulan Plasma Light Cannon, or Romulan Plasma Heavy Cannon. And that's the Mark 12, the highest, basically the highest stats you can get right now. And it is Tier 4 where we can get the full-on Mark 12 space set, the shield, deflector, or impulse engine. And something unique also called a Romulan Hyperplasma Torpedo Launcher for your ship. Now all of these are gained by doing projects. You have to do the project to open the store, which costs a lot of Romulan marks. I mean a lot. But once you open that store, then you can buy them. And so you want to have a lot of dilithium for that, obviously, saved up. But yeah, very good stuff here at Tier 4 on the Romulan side. And then Tier 5, well, we only have one passive ability we can choose, but look at it, it sounds awesome. Increases all space science stats by 100 for 8 seconds. And after 3 seconds, your ship will also be cloaked for the remaining 5 seconds of the power. You may fire weapons and use abilities normally without breaking the cloak. This cloak does not bring your shields offline, but it has a 10-minute freaking cooldown. That's a really long time on the cooldown, but this is an active power you have to select, and boy, that sounds awesome. This would be really good for science ships. So I mean, just really good. It's pretty cool, but it has a long cooldown. But then look at all this stuff you can get at tier 5 now. We're opened up to ultra rare. I mean, we're talking beyond purple here. I don't know what color it would be, gold or yellow. It's ultra rare Scorpion fighters. I mean, come on, that's just awesome. And then very rare Riemann Advanced Prototype Convariant Shield. Again, Mark 12, very rare advanced prototype stuff for the Romulan set. So, I mean, that's really cool. And then something else too, an experimental Romulan plasma beam array. Whoa, another unique item you can get on Romulan side. And then a bunch of consumables that you can use on ground missions or space missions. These Romulan reinforcements will basically beam in Romulans and help fight. I've seen people do this on Borg ground missions on STFs, and they'll call in Romulan reinforcements, and a bunch of Romulans, or actually Remans, I've seen the Reman one, a bunch of Remans will come down, beam in, and start helping you fight the Borg and use their telekinetic powers that they have and everything. So that's some pretty useful stuff right there. So that's the Romulan side, okay? Now let's look at what Task Force Omega has. So basically it's laid out the same way. You have 5 tiers and you get unlocks at each one. So under tier 1, you get 2 powers. You can get medical nanites, which increases your health regeneration both in and out of combat. Regenerates 20% of your health every 60 seconds in ground, or increases your weapon proficiency skill by 30, enhancing your damage in ground combat. I chose that one, but you have either one you can choose between. And if you unlock the stores, you get Mark 10 anti-Borg pistols, rifles, assault weapons, and you can get your Mark 10 Mako, Omega, or Honor Guard if you're KDF ground set. But it's only Mark 10, so not the best. A lot of people skip the tier 1 unlocks on Omega because the stuff is just not that great. Tier 2 is where it starts getting more fun. You can select hull repairing nanites, increases your hull regeneration, that's for space, or increases your weapon training by 30 in space, increasing your damage in space combat. Again, that's what I chose. So on the Romulan side, I have better critical hit chance, and then on the Omega side, I increased my weapon damage on ground and space. So that's the path I went. Of course, you could choose other if you wanted. You get very rare. You start getting the Mark 11 purple anti-Borg pistols, rifles, and assault weapons, and you get the very rare purple Borg prosthetic arm weaponry, which is pretty nice. Anti-Borg combat consumables, and again only Mark 10 of the Mako, Omega, or Honor Guard set for ground. However, you do get a unique item, and I've heard a lot of people have been using this. It's called a cutting beam array, and basically if you've ever seen Star Trek The Next Generation, the Borg would often use a white beam from their ship and cut into the hull of the ship, doing kinetic damage obviously and pulling part of the hull section away. This is kind of similar to that. It does kinetic damage, very kinetic damage. However, you can only have one equipped on your ship at a time. But a lot of people have chosen this item and put that on their ship, but it's something you can play with, you can get. Again, you have to unlock the store for it. At level 3, this is rotating weapon frequency. Your weapons operate on a rotating frequency, slowing Borg adaptation. You will still have to manually remodulate your weapon after some time, but the Borg will adapt more slowly. Now, if all you're going to do is fight the Borg at in-game, this option is very useful. However, if there's going to be more you do than just Borg, I would suggest the second option, which is Regenerative Shield Augmentation. It regenerates your shield every second. So every 1 second, we're talking constantly, every second, it's doing +5 shield regeneration to your ground shields. I find that more important because I do fight the Borg a lot at in-game, but they're not the only people I fight on ground. There are other races I fight, so this shield augmentation helps me on anything, any ground mission. So that's why I chose that one. Now you also start getting the Mark 12 stuff at level 3. You get the Anti-Borg Pistol Mark 12, Anti-Borg Rifle, and the Assault Weapon Mark 12. Now at level 3 is where you start getting the Mark 11 Mako, Omega, or Honor Guard set. That's very important because that's better than the Mark 10, and that's what most people have gotten pre-Season 7 when they got EDCs basically to get all their gear. They started with Mark 11, not Mark 10, but Mark 11. That's kind of, you know, the I guess the most common set. So that's level 3. See, a Mako Omega Honor Guard Type 1 requires acquisition of the associated mark. Yeah, okay. Assimilated space set. Oh, also this is where you start getting the assimilated space set, where the shield, the deflector, and the engine. People wonder where you get those. You used to get them doing the missions or doing the STFs, and at the end you would get the reward. Well, now it's all part of the reputation system. You have to do this and get to this level before you can get the assimilated space stuff for your ship. Alright, at Tier 4 we have Omega Graviton Amplifier. It adds a chance to deal kinetic damage with 100% shield penetration to your weapons. This has a 2.5% proc rate with directed energy weapons and a 5% proc rate for torpedoes and mines. So this is a massive amount of this does, well, basically completely goes through the shields of the enemy and does kinetic damage. Awesome. Or superior shield repair, and this does 12.7 shield regeneration every 6 seconds on your ship. I would choose this one, the Omega Graviton Amplifier. That sounds like an awesome ability to me. I haven't got to Tier 4 yet on any of my characters, but when I do, that's the one I'm going with. Also, we get the Borg Prosthetic Arm Weaponry Mark 12. And we can get the something called an Omega Torpedo Launcher space weapon, a unique item, again, through the reputation system that you can only get right here. And then we can, of course, continue Mark 11 Mako Omega Honor. Now, at Tier 5, we get one ability, and that's Medical Nanite Cloud. This one sounds pretty cool, too. This is for the ground. A Medical Nanite Cloud deploys a cloud of nanites that seek out and heal or resurrect allies. The nanites will also remove any expose effects on allies they are healing. In addition, the nanites will undo the assimilation process on assimilated targets. This ability has a 10-minute cooldown. Affects friends and self. So this is like really awesome. I would definitely, I mean, obviously it's your only choice, but that's sounds like a very cool ability to have if you're on a team. Okay, and obviously it's to fight, it's to combat the Borg. We can get now at Tier 5, we can get our Mark 12 Mako, Omega, and Honor Guard ground set, or something even new, which they have added to the reputation system, which you could not get before, but now you can, and it's called an adapted Mako or Honor Guard ground set. So it's even superior to what the regular Mako or Honor Guard Mark 12 set was, and it's an adapted set. It even has a different look to it. It has more lights on it, and it is superior. I have seen some people wearing it, and it definitely does look different than the standard Mark 12 Mako set. It is better. It's called adapted for a reason. I don't know all the specs on it for you because I don't have it yet, but I'm guessing it helps you adapt to Borg. It sounds like, at least to me, it helps you adapt to the Borg remodulation or whatever. I don't know, but it's called adapted. It sounds good. It's better than what you could get before, so definitely something to achieve for. And of course the costume unlock for it. These are all the different costume unlocks. So tiering up is something that takes several months to do. It's not something we can just automatically, I can just do for you and just have it done overnight. No, this is something that takes several months. It's meant to. The whole idea is that it takes you time to tier up in the different tiers, and they've devised it that way. They want it to take time. They don't want it to be done super quickly. So I cannot today or tomorrow or this week or this month show you the whole thing and all the stuff you can get and even how to do it, because it's something that I have to do off camera and spam a bunch of missions to earn enough marks and enough energy credits to buy the consumables to do the projects. And each project takes 20 hours to run. It runs on its own for 20 hours, and you can only run 2 projects at a time. So that means, just to get to tier 1, it's going to take several days. And then tier 2, is going to take like weeks, and tier 3 months. It's just going to take a while. So the best thing that I can do is in this video basically introduce the whole reputation system to you, which I've done, and start some projects, because I have enough things to start a project. As you can see, I have 598 Romulan Marks, and that is because I've been running some STFs off camera to get some marks so I could start a project for you and show you what it is to start a project. But as far as getting more marks, I just have to play more STFs. And now on the Romulan side, I don't have any marks yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in the next video how to get Romulan marks. I'm going to take this, it might take a couple of videos to do the Romulan stuff, maybe 2 or 3 videos actually to do the Romulan stuff. So here's what I plan to do. I plan in the next video to show you how to get Romulan marks. There are different ways. The main way I'm going to show you is how to do all the patrols that the Romulans have. They have a new sector block in the galaxy. If you look here, as of Season 7, it's called the Taldewa block, and it's all Romulan and Reman related. These 3 sector blocks here, the Azure sector, Nimbus sector, and Narendra sector. In each one, there are planets and star systems, and you can go to each one, and most of them have a patrol mission. Well, when you go to this sector block itself, there's a mission that comes up that if you do a certain amount of patrols and finish them, you get a certain amount of Romulan marks. It's like 65 Romulan marks, something like that. And it's called a daily. You can do it every day because it has like a 20-hour cooldown or something like that. So it's something you can do once a day, but you are guaranteed to get a large amount of Romulan marks for doing it. Another way to get Romulan marks is to go to New Romulus and do all the little missions that they have in that new social zone. So what I plan to do in the next video is to show you all the patrols. It's probably going to take a couple of videos at least to show you all the patrols. I'm going to do every single one, and I'm going to, and then we're going to turn them in, and I'll show you how that gets you Romulan marks. Okay. Then in the next video after that, I'm going to go to New Romulus and show you guys New Romulus and show you how you can earn Romulan marks there, because you can't do any of these projects until you have Romulan marks, right? Okay, so that's the Romulan side. Now on the Omega side, it requires that you get Omega marks. How do you get Omega marks? Well, the best way is to play STFs, the Special Task Forces. There is a normal and elite version to the STFs. You get more Omega marks doing the elite version. You also get something called I want to call Bioneural Processor, but that's not what it's called, is it? Someone remind me. I think I might have some. Let's see. Yes, I do. It's called Borg Neural Processor. I think I miscalled this in the last video. You get Borg Neural Processors when you do when you do normal or elite STFs. But when you do elite STFs, you're guaranteed to get at least one Borg Neural Processor, and often you get several of them. What are these for? Well, along with Omega Marks, unlocking the stores and buying some of these weapons and things you want to buy in the Omega stuff, it costs Borg neural processors. So you want to collect a lot of these. Don't delete them. Don't sell them. You can sell them for dilithium, but don't, because if you want anything out of the Omega stores, you need these Borg neural processors. So let them accumulate, basically. Just let them sit in your inventory and accumulate. So you get two things basically out of doing the STFs, and the elite STFs give you more. And I have also found that specifically the elite ground STFs give you the most processors and the most Omega Marks. So if you want the absolute most, do a ton of ground elite STFs. If you don't like ground, then just do the space elite STFs and you'll still get a good amount of stuff. Of course, you also still will get marks doing the normal regular STFs. You just won't get as much. I really just don't play an STF unless it's elite, because it's so easy now to get through an elite STF. So that's how you earn that. Now there are a couple of other ways too. You can also get it from the Defera invasion. I've actually never done that, but you can get that if you are familiar with playing that. And other Borg related missions and events, if you play the if you go into sector space and you see those Borg red alerts pop up, if you do that red alert and you're successful, that will also get you Omega Marks. I'm not sure how many that gives you, but that does give you some Omega Marks. But I just find the best way is to do STFs because you get the most that way. And honestly, this was one night of STFing, and I have near 600 Omega Marks. That's it, just one night of STFing, and I have that many marks. So it does not take long doing elite STFs to gain a lot of Omega Marks. Alright, so I cannot start any Romulan projects because I don't have Romulan Marks. Well, I can add them, but I can't start them, so I'll show you. The two you start with for adding Romulan reputation are these two: send supplies to New Romulus and support colonization efforts. And the reward is 800 reputation for this one and 2,000 reputation for this one. So as you remember, to get to tier 1 we need 5,000 reputation. So doing these first two is only going to get us to 2,800 reputation. So we'll have to keep doing them over and over again in order to get to the next tier, and that's all there is to it. You just keep doing the same missions or the same projects over and over and over and over again until you get enough reputation. That's all there is to it. So we'll add this, then we go to this slot and we'll add the second one. Now what these slots are for is see, I started this one send supplies to New Romulus. Well, here it is again. If I wanted to like put it in a queue, I could put it here, and when this project is done, this one moves into this slot. However, it does not auto start the project, and there's no way to auto start the project, so it just sits there until you contribute all your stuff and start it. So it's kind of useless in my opinion to do the add new project on this side. It's basically a queue system, but it's pointless. And be careful, once you add any project, you cannot remove it. It's there permanently. You have to run it or else. Now this third option is called upgrades. It is a small little mission you can do. It only gives 5 reputation, but it doesn't take long to complete. It shows you right here, 15 seconds is all it takes to complete it. But you only get 5 reputation. So it's really not worth it, because it does give you dilithium, but it costs 50. That's a ton of Romulan marks. 50 Romulan marks just for a 15-second project that gets you 5 reputation. That's horrible. That's just, excuse me, that's a ripoff. That's a huge ripoff. Because remember, that one patrol, when we do that patrol daily, that's going to give us like 65 Romulan marks. That's going to use up all our Romulan marks just on this little useless thing. However, what does become useful is, in order to get to each tier, you have to do an upgrade mission, or an upgrade project, and it says upgrade basically to tier 1. And you have to add it under upgrades, do what is required, and it takes 15 minutes, and then it'll upgrade you to that tier. Now, to unlock the stores, those are separate projects. Of course, they're not showing us the stores right now. We don't have access to them yet, but once they come up, you add the stores the same way you add these active projects. And they also cost Romulan marks and expertise and everything you see here. They cost a bunch of stuff. And in fact, they cost more than doing these projects. So be careful, only unlock the stores you want, because it takes a ton of resources to unlock a store. More resources than it takes to do these regular projects to get reputation. So, I've added these two, but you see I can't do much. I cannot contribute any Romulan marks, because this takes 9 and I have none. This one takes 17 and I have none. However, I can contribute other stuff. These require expertise, 10 large hypos, 10 regenerators. This one requires a lot of expertise, 40 provisions, and 25 water purification systems. So I could add the other stuff in, but I wouldn't be able to start them because I don't have enough Romulan marks. So we'll skip this one for now, and now let's go to Omega, because I do have Omega marks on this one. Same thing as a Romulan. You have 2 basic things that you can add for projects to get reputations, and one is 2,000 reputation and one is 800, just like the Romulan side. So we're going to add both of them. And now we can actually start these projects because I have Omega marks. So we contribute 17 Omega marks, contribute 5,500 expertise. Now it says we need shield generators and industrial energy cells. Now where do we get that? I think you can buy them at places here on Earth Space Talk and on First City for KDF. I just find the easiest way for me is just to go to the replicator and buy them from the replicator. So, but it costs energy credits. That's the drawback. So you do need a lot of energy credits. We have on our character 475,000 energy credits. Not a lot. Not a lot at all. So we're going to run out fairly quickly. So what does that mean? It means we need to run more missions. We need to do more things like tour the universe or other things to get more energy credits, because doing this reputation stuff is going to eat up my energy credits. Alright, I need 50 shield generators. So shield generators right here, we need 50 of them. And that's going to cost me 7,500 energy credits. But now I have them, so I can contribute 50 shield generators. And then industrial energy cells, I need 25. So here we go, 25 of those. It's going to cost me 15,000 energy credits. But we need them, so we'll do them. And there you go. I've added all those things, and this one has started by itself. And it's going to take 20 hours to complete. We just let it do its thing. Now let's start the other one. I have Omega marks, I have expertise. Now on this one I need large shield charge and major regenerators. You can't get those through the replicator. You can only get the small stuff. So to get the large shield and the major regenerator, we go to Ensign Ricky, back over here in the near the exchange room. Requisitions. And this is again going to cost us energy credits, but we need those things in order to run the projects. So here's Ensign Ricky. go to purchase consumables. Here's the large shield charge, and we needed 10 of them, so do 10. Then we needed 10 major regenerators as well. There we go. Now we bought those. Go back to reputation and add those. And now, there we go. 20 hours remaining for this project. So both are running. There's nothing else I can do. I basically close this window, and in 20 hours I'll come back and claim my rewards. That's all I can do. That's it. That's the reputation system. That's what you'll be doing most of your time. Is just going in, adding projects. When they're done, you click collect item, and then keep adding projects, and that's it. Now when these are done, I'll show you what that looks like, and then show you that we can start another one. Of course, we're going to do the Romulan stuff next to get Romulan Marks, and then I'll be able to start the Romulan stuff. So as you can see, it's going to take a lot of time to tier up in the reputation system. So what does that mean for us in videos and Ensign Ricky? Well, it means I'm not going to be able to show you the rewards that we're going to get on Ensign Ricky, because it's going to take a lot of time. It would take several months to get through all the tiers before I can show you everything, and it would take a lot of time on my part because I have to play the game every day, to add projects, claim projects, run and do marks and all that stuff. So instead, what I'm going to do is, now that I've introduced this to you, I will of course show you how to get Romulan Marks and Omega Marks. But after that, what I'm going to do is I will show you what the rewards you can get are from open stores on my other characters. I have several other Star Trek Online characters, and on those characters, for example, my main character, he's at tier 3 on Omega right now, and he has all the stores open up to tier 3. So what I'm going to do is continue just working on my main characters for this stuff, and not necessarily Ensign Ricky. And then in that way I'll be able to make videos and show you what's available at each tier. I'll make a video and show you all the stuff you can get at tier 1, and on and on and on and on, and on, as you know, as I keep progressing. But I'm going to do that through my main character because he's had a lot more progress in the reputation system, and you won't have to wait as long. If I did it on Ensign Ricky, you guys would be waiting months before I was able to show you stuff, and that's just not acceptable. I need to do it a lot quicker, so I'm going to just have to use another character for that. However, I will be, when I can, running stuff on Ensign Ricky so that eventually he gets this stuff too, because obviously I want him to have all this good stuff. It's just going to take a lot of time. So that's an introduction to the reputation system, and that's one way that at endgame you can continue working on your Star Trek Online character. So like I said, in the next video we're going to first concentrate on new Romulus. I'm going to run all the patrols and show you what the patrols look like and how to get through them, and then how we earn our Romulan Marks through there, and then I'm going to do new Romulus and show you how to get Romulan Marks there, and then I'll show you how we can start our Romulan projects. And then after I do Romulan, eventually we'll get there, I'm going to do the STFs. I'm going to show you all of the STFs, space and ground. They may not all be successful when I run them, depending on who I'm running them with. You know, if I pug them, it's not going to be too good, but I'm going to try to get a good group and get through that, and hopefully have some good recordings of the ground missions, hopefully with the optionals, and show you guys how you can succeed in getting the optionals for all of these STFs. Because if you want all of the costume unlocks, you have to get through all the optionals successfully at least once on all the ground missions. And space, I think, but definitely for sure ground. So that is something that I want to get through and show you. But first we're going to do Romulan, and then we're going to get to all the STFs. And I'm going to show you STFs under Ensign Ricky without having all the special, you know, Mark 12 Mako and Omega gear. I'm going to show you that you can do it successfully. But then I still want to show you doing the STFs with that gear. For example, on my main character or my secondary character who has better gear and better weaponry, what the STFs are like under that circumstance as well. I'm going to show you both circumstances basically, pre-Omega Mako hardware and then after Mako Omega hardware. But that will be a little bit later. First thing is new Romulus, and we're going to concentrate on that on Ensign Ricky. After I do all of that on Ensign Ricky, then we're going to go back to KDF, and I'm going to show you that stuff on the Master and do that on the KDF side. So that is what our next several, more than several. It's going to be about 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7, I don't know. It could be 10 or 15 videos between now and then of doing all the Romulan stuff and all the Omega stuff and STFs I want to show on Ensign Ricky. So we got a lot to do still and a lot to show you. Now that we're at in-game, this is where you start doing the big boys stuff. So stay tuned, and thank you all for watching that. I know it's kind of got long-winded on the reputation system, but I wanted to go over it as in depth as I could, because it's a very big, important part of the game, and if you feel like you're not doing anything more in the game at level 50, well, this is something you can do. This is something that will take up your time, a lot of time actually. So this is something, and like you've seen, will give you unique weapons and things that you can only get through this system. And this is how they intend to expand upon in-game content. Whether we like it or not, they're going to keep adding more things to the reputation system, and in their mind, this is in-game content. This is how they're going to give you more stuff to do at in-game. And that's all. We do want more stuff to do, but I like storyline missions. I want more featured episode series. So hopefully we'll get some of that too in the future. But for right now, it's the reputation system. So get to know it very well. So I'll see y'all back in the next video, and we'll hit up the Romulan stuff with the patrols. So thank you all for watching that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.